Lord have mercy. It's a taco with a smile or a snarl. Woo! Scared.
Well,
Hey dog, you want to taco about it? Sadly, a subject of much debate, do I pull the nitrous outlet sticker because it says I don't have a turbo? We clearly have a turbo. Artifast just kind of fit. Rally Tech, Haltech, PRE Racing, all important. But this is the outlier, so it's coming off. Here we go with razor blades, holding the camera again. So I sliced myself last time. See, that's a good sticker. Look at that. It comes right off. I could put that sticker on something else. Just set it over here for now. So we have a hole where the sticker used to be. Let's see if we can get a little bit of residue off there. Razor blades are fun. This one's even rusty. It's the best kind of razor blade. So I feel like we need to put another sticker there. I don't know what. Oh wait, I do. Just grabbed a fun little turbo accessory. So I was thinking maybe this Thermal Zero sticker. Probably have to cut the corner off to make it fit right, but I'll do that. Alright, so anybody that knows anything about racing knows that the stickers are the most important part. So here we go. See if we can get this in here correctly. Perfect. Yes, that's gonna look good. It's even the right colors. We'll get out our time card here and see if we can't get the bubbles out of this thing. Oh great, kind of scratched the sticker a little bit. Oh well, might have to go find another one. It doesn't look too bad. A little bubble there. I just kind of trimmed the corner. Alright, Thermal Zero. It's a 10-footer now, after I put that little scratch in it. But what is Thermal Zero? Well, Thermal Zero is a company that makes nice little heat blankets. Let's come around here to the action end. I just grabbed this thing. It's fun having a warehouse full of parts. So this is it's a blanket essentially made of fiberglass. The inside of it is, you can see, is insulation, and it goes around the turbine housing, thus keeping heat in the turbine housing and out of the engine bay, which increases exhaust gas velocity and reduces engine bay temperatures. So I've got this little safety wire I got to put on here and get that guy mounted. I have the blanket on the car here, and what we've got is some safety wire and some really fancy safety wire spinning pliers. So we're going to make, what I usually do is I make a loop like this when I'm doing safety wire on these blankets, and you want to get it underneath the turbo center section. And on this blanket there's a hook and another hook, and basically you're going to hook this guy, you're going to come around to that one, and then you want to basically twist it so that it pulls them together. The tighter the blanket is on the exhaust turbine, the better the results are going to be from doing a blanket. So I'm actually going to go forward, see if we can grab that hook. And so we're going to pull it back. I want to get this as much on there as possible. Alright, back to the front. Excellent. Alright, so got it pretty tight now. Now we're going to put the safety wire pliers on here, and the really cool part is what these do. So you lock them in, and then you pull the handle, and it spins the safety wire, essentially creating a lock. These ones probably need lubricated, but and then you unclip, and that blanket is on there, but we're going to do the other side as well. I'm going to go ahead and come in here, and these have a little snipper to cut the safety wire. as well. You don't want to lose these little tails. You'll puncture stuff with them, but you can see what's going on here is that it twisted that wire really nice and uniform, and then you cut it off. So down here now that's a sharp piece. So what I try to do is I try to bend it back over. That's pretty good and tight on the front side. And we're going to do the exact same thing for the back side. So, once again, we create a loop. The safety wire comes underneath the downpipe. Find the hook. You're not going to be able to see this at all on the camera, but you get the idea. So we're around that hook, and then find the hook at the back. Get around it. Come back to the front. Go around this hook so that we can twist these together and get the result we're looking for. Both sides of that hook there. Again, we grab it with our safety twist pliers. You can do this with regular pliers, it's just a lot more difficult if you do. They just don't tend to twist as uniformly. You do need to be careful. If you twist too tight, this wire tends to break. And if the wire breaks, then you gotta start over again. Alright. So, got both of those in there. Now this is good and snug and secure on there. Like I said, that's gonna keep the heat that's generated inside that turbine housing in the turbine housing, which is gonna increase exhaust velocity and get the exhaust going out. It's also gonna help reduce heat on these coil packs. I actually recently had this coil pack fail, and I'm pretty sure it's because it got too hot, essentially just from exhaust temperature. So now we've got the downpipe is wrapped, turbine housing is covered, and we'll go ahead and put our charge pipe back on. And this car is basically ready for the drag strip tomorrow. So charge pipe back on. Now, something that it's a little trade secret. I don't show a lot. Let me see if I can grab it here. It's always important to look good while you're working on cars. So we've got the Aquanet. This is not my favorite brand. I like the Rave 4X Mega Hold because it holds 4 times as strong. But what we're going to do here is we're actually going to take this pipe back off. And, oops, I lost a clamp. And I'm going to hit the inside of this coupler here. Just a little bit of that. And I'm going to hit this one over here too. And then, I'll find my clamp. What this does is when we put the pipe on, you'll notice it goes on easier than that first time I put it on. So it slides on nice and easy because you have a lubricant from the hairspray. But then what happens once you tighten it is that hairspray dries out inside that pipe. And when the hairspray dries, it acts as just a very minor glue. And a lot of people say you shouldn't use these kind of clamps because they don't hold boost very well. But I can tell you from personal experience that with a little bit of hairspray and a good bead rolled on your pipe, these clamps will hold over 50 pounds of boost. I've actually held over 58 pounds of boost on the Black Widow drag car on these type of clamps and made pass after pass down a half-mile course and not had an issue. So the naysayers can naysay, but it works. Now, it is important that you have the correct kind of these clamps. Not all are created equal. I can show you here what a good one is. So on the back of this clamp, you'll notice, if the camera decides to focus, come on, there we go. The back of the clamp is completely closed in right here. It's very important that that's closed in. Where that connects to is on the top here. You can see it comes up and it's clasped inside there. That allows that basically to stay tight on the worm drive as you're tightening the clamp. Let me see if I can find a bad clamp here. Alright, so I have what you don't want. Here it is. So this style, as you can see, it clamshells in the back and the little tabs come in. What happens when you actually get some torque on the nut there is, or the screw, is that it separates this back part out and then it essentially can't grab the tracks. So there's the difference. See if I can get it to focus on this. You can see that huge difference in how strong these two clamps are. Even though they're both stainless steel clamps, essentially they should be the same amount of strength, but because of the clasp design on the one, it works really well. This is a Norton, I believe. Just a made in USA. I believe it's a Norton brand. I'm not 100% sure. I think they come from Lawson, but you can get these from 100 different places. So good clamps. They hold power, they hold boost, and they are very reliable. All right, so the next thing we have is I built a little cardboard template here. So down there is the merge collector. It's a lot of heat in a merge collector. So my thought is if I put not a piece of cardboard, but obviously, well, I guess it wouldn't be that obvious necessarily. Cardboard probably handle it until it caught on fire. Basically, I'm going to use this just as a template, but kind of just cover that off so that radiant heat coming up doesn't come up into our intake, so that hopefully we'll get a little bit cooler air, because the intake sits right here like this. And so, you know, we've got cool air coming in here, and then I've got this air duct here. Now, making this corner to come up was my original idea, but with how I have these hoses routed, I could move this catch can probably over to any of that void over there. But for now, without moving everything around, I'm stuck with just a filter intake. Eventually I'll finish in that ram air. Not really looking for the ram air effect, but just for nice, cool, fresh air effect. So I'm gonna go take this template and I'm gonna cut it out of aluminum or some kind of galvanized or something that'll handle the heat and not add a bunch of weight. And then we're gonna fasten that in there and be done for the day. So I found a nice piece of just galvanized, thin, with such a small little chunk, it's not really gonna weigh anything. Can't find a Sharpie, but you improvise when you can't find what you need. So we got dry erase, which should be fine. We're just gonna trace this guy here. Kind of the only important thing is this little scallop here. Everything else is pretty much just cut it and go. So we'll just cut on the inside of that and be done. I'm not gonna film myself cutting with tin snips because that's how I tend to cut myself, so 1 minute. All right, I managed to use tin snips and not bleed everywhere, which is quite an accomplishment for me. So put this bad boy back down in there, and it's gonna sit there just like that. Now, you wanna make sure that it's not actually touching the motor. Knock sensors are pretty sensitive to metal on metal contact, so as the motor rocks back and forth, if it taps this, it could cause the knock sensor to kind of freak out. So we'll just make sure it's back just a little bit, just enough, a little bit of an air gap there, about a little less than a 1/2 inch, which should be enough to keep, you know, a good amount of the ambient. I mean, we're reducing the gap from that down to that, so we should keep most of the ambient temperature out, but at least have enough of a gap to where we're not going to have a bunch of false knocks. So I'm going to, yeah, I think I'll go spray paint. No, I'm just going to run it. We'll just run it for now. I might paint it later. I'm just going to drill 2 holes in it and bolt it in. So that's how that's going to fit. Doesn't look the coolest, but it's not about fashion, it's about function. All right, so I've got this. I actually slotted the hole so that I can get it perfect exactly where I want it. So we will put the hardware in there and then adjust precisely the gap we want, and then zap that down. There it is, the little heat shield. That it was garbage galvanized. It was kind of loud just if you flipped on it. So I just put some duct tape around the edge. you know, got that good blue duct tape. Like I said, we're not winning any beauty contests with this one, but it should function. And that's what's really important, is that it just goes fast. One second. All right, there we go. So that's back in place. I guess the last thing I got to do, it would have been fun when I started it up if I hadn't put these back in. I numbered them because they don't really make sense. A lot of people are like, oh, only noobs number their spark plug wires, but they're not in order on the coil packs. So here we go. All right, this thing is ready, at least as ready as it's gonna be. That drop stuff. Ready as it's gonna be to run tomorrow. Hopefully the rain holds off and we can get a pass. I should address the zip tie situation there, but I need to cut that down a little bit. It hits the hood right there. So if I just trim it down just a hair, it should clear, and then I can put a little bracket on it. The last thing, and I need people's opinion and feedback, I'm seriously debating putting one of these on. I originally wasn't going to run a blow-off valve on this setup, but we're hitting a little more boost than I originally planned, just because it seems to be holding it. So, you know, past, below 10 pounds or so, I don't think a blow-off valve is necessary. But past that, it's a lot of pressure that's going to go back through the turbo when you shut the throttle plate. So having a blow-off valve is handy. Now, I've got this sweet Turbo Smart race port here. I could put it back here like this, and it would, you know, look all right. You wouldn't see it too much. Or I could put it down in front where it's very visible, packaged in with the turbo and everything. I'm kind of leaning towards behind, just for the sake of it being out of the way of the engine bay, with trying to get to stuff, plugs and air temp sensors down there, stuff like that. But not going to put it on today before this race tomorrow. It's just too much work. But definitely in the future. So it'd be nice to see what people's opinion was, front or back. Let me know. So the next thing that everybody forgets is what you bring to the track with you. It is always a good idea to bring an extra can of fuel, even if your car has enough in it for what you think you're gonna need. Running out of gas at the track is the worst, literally the worst. So, can of fuel. This is the VP M5 methanol. That's what I've been running. So the next thing is tools. What tools do you need? Well, the most important tool to have so that you know what's going on in your car is data. And how do you collect data? Well, there's an onboard data logger inside the Haltech. But on top of that, we're gonna look at spark plugs after each pass. It's just something that I do. Make sure that each plug looks the same, make sure that they're burning the same, make sure that you don't have one that's melting or something weird. So we're gonna grab the tools that are needed for check spark plugs on this. An extension, the correct spark plug socket. I have grabbed the wrong one in the past, and a ratchet. So that goes in the bag. Step one complete. Next thing I like is my little zip gun with an 8mm on it for clamps. Make sure the battery's good. Green light, we're good to go. Next thing is a flashlight. Again, make sure the battery's good on it. This one doesn't give you a little indicator, but I think I charged them all up the other day. So we got a flashlight. The next thing that I always grab is, from the old toolbox, is these kind of ring pliers. They're just really good for vacuum lines and stuff. Always make sure I have them. Regular pliers, and then fancy snips. So those are all important to have. The majority of the issues that I have at the track are electrical. Oh, one more thing. Feeler gauges to check the spark plug gap if I need to. And then I have a fancy little gap tool around here somewhere, but you can just do them the old fashioned. Oh, there it is. Fancy gap tool. Let's grab that. In the bag. Now the next thing, because electrical is always the bane of my existence, some solder. Oops, wrong drawer. This is 18 gauge, just Napa wire. some strippers, again, always good to have. And I've got the snips already, so we got stripper snips, solder. We'll need a soldering torch, just in case something goes sideways. Actually, instead of doing a soldering torch, I'm just gonna grab crimps. Just gonna grab wire crimps and crimp pliers, because if it goes bad, it goes bad. So, and electrical tape, always good to have. And then the only spares I plan on taking with me is an extra set of spark plugs, so I'm gonna go grab those and put them in the bag. And why are the kittens exploding? Wait, what is this? We found more tacos. What? It's a taco? I don't understand. Exploding kittens, but it's a. Now the last step in the process, if you can hear me, we need to fill our bottle. I had some nitrous in it from before, but we're looking for about 24 pounds in the bottle, and we're not 24 pounds in the bottle, but we're looking for the bottle weight to be about 24 pounds. So let's put there. This is a nitrous pump. We'll put out a few big bottles here. The whole nitrous pump. So yeah, it's a loud process. Always make sure you're wearing ear protection when you're doing this one. If you were to overpressure a bottle, this little valve right here, there's a little burst plate inside. That would explode. Nitrogen would just come shooting out. Contrary to popular belief, there's that sticker. I had to find a home for it. It was too good of a sticker to waste. 23.5. It's going kind of slow on this bottle. I don't really know why. I think the valve is probably just old and corroded in this bottle. So, yeah. This one's filled up, put it back in the car. Alright, so here we are. We've got tools, I've got helmet, safety gear, it's a jacket and some shoes. I like to overdress for the occasion. Can of methanol. There's the car. It's not the prettiest thing on the inside. One of these days I will finish chipping out all this nasty sound deadening crap and probably paint the interior just black. It's the best color for the inside of a race car. My nice little wiring loom down here. You can see Mr. Haltech hanging out in his spot. A lot of extra wires. Eventually I might do something with them or I'll pluck them out of the harness. For now they're just wrapped up. The car still has a heater box. The heater box works. Still has, you know, a dashboard and my nice little trick shift light since I don't actually have a tack in the car. Still just a stock seat. You know, it's just a basic race car. It's a Tricera taco. It holds tacos. It holds 2 tacos, not just 1 taco. Might have to do that. I don't know. 2 tacos. If only it was a T-Rex taco holder, then I'd be down. Well, we came down today, gave it a good shot, but unfortunately the weather's just not going to cooperate. It's the end of the season here in good old sunny Oregon. There's the sun up there somewhere. But Woodburn Dragstrip, it's a great track. Unfortunately for today, we're rained out and this was the last test and tune of the season. Was really looking forward to seeing what the car would do, but that's racing and it's all-wheel drive. If they'd let me race in the rain, I'd do it, but they won't. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Too bad I couldn't give you an actual time to end the season with, but it was still fun and we'll come out swinging in 2019, and I'm sure there will be some fun winter projects in the middle. You know, playing in the snow. It is a Subaru. It is on snow tires, so we'll see y'all for the next video. Thanks for watching.